Manchester United, the famous soccer sports team in Europe, has been in the news in recent months as the Glazer family, who owns the club, is attempting to sell the club to the highest bidder. This is the monthly chart, and two things to note. Number one, we do have a monthly buyers level down at, we'll say, $13. And we had this huge spike higher back in November, which took out and closed above the downtrend line. Typically, when you breach a trend line, at times you do retest it, and that's what we had back in May. However, as you can see, between the $26 and the $28 level, we have massive sellers that waited for price to come up to push it back down. Now, what's interesting is that the other day, the stock had its worst collapse, one of the worst collapses in its history, on news that the Glazer family is taking the team off the market. Now, last week we had unusual option activity that was anticipating that the company was going to be sold, and that might still be the case, but nevertheless, Manchester United was dead money for the better part of 4 years until the controlling Glazer family announced last November, that was the reason for the spike, that it was exploring strategic alternatives for the UK soccer club. The stock jumped about 75% on the news. Ever since, it's traded between $20 and $25. On August 14th, speculation surfaced that the Glazers were ready to announce the sale of the club for as much as 7.3 billion British pounds. That's roughly 9.2 billion. The math, based on 163 million shares outstanding, says the deal would be worth approximately $49 per share, more than double its current price. So we've seen some unusual option activity this past Friday, as someone purchased a boatload of the October 20, $28 calls. However, it appears that the Glazers are taking the team off the market. Let's look at this video for more details.
Kaveh Solokol here. Looks like they're taking a bit of a battering. Why?
Yes, things are going badly for Manchester United on the pitch, and they're going badly for United off the pitch as well. We are in the middle of the biggest sell-off in Manchester United shares on the New York Stock Exchange since United went public 11 days ago. You can see here on this graph, the figures on the left are dollars, the share price. United opened at around $24 this morning at 8 o'clock New York time.
That's our time, actually. I've just been told.
8 o'clock UK time.
Yep.
Now, this evening, the share price is down to around $19.
Ouch.
So it is on track to be the worst day for United shares. £550 million has been wiped off the value of United at the lowest point of the shares today. And it's the biggest drop in United shares. We're on track for it being the biggest drop since the 12th of March 2020, when the share price dropped by 13.8%. At the moment, it's down 20%.
Is that because the Glazers are intimating they might not sell?
It is purely because of a report in the Mail on Sunday morning, that said the Glazers are considering taking United off the market. The New York Stock Exchange was closed yesterday because it was Labour Day, so this is the first day that traders have had to react to that news. Now, the people who own Manchester United shares, they have been expecting the Qataris to buy United, and the Qataris are willing to pay more than the share price. They were willing to pay something like £5 billion to buy the club. The share price values the club at around £3 billion. So if you had United shares, you were rubbing your hands thinking, here come the Qataris, I'm going to make a lot of money because they're going to buy my shares for a lot more than they're valued at today. That is why the share price has been going up since the Glazers announced in November that they were considering selling the club. As soon as reports come out that they're considering taking it off the market, then you see what happens. The share price comes down. What is interesting is that according to the share price, the market capitalisation of Manchester United, what the market thinks United is worth, is £3 billion. That is what United are valued at on the New York Stock Exchange at the moment. And we know the Glazers are asking for far more than that for Manchester United. They want at least twice that, £6 billion. And we also know that the Qataris, Sheikh Jassim, and also Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid have been around £5 billion. So those two bids on the table already value United at far more than the share price, but not enough for the Glazers.
Right, explain this to me. Do the Glazers give a monkeys about that? The reason I ask is the moment they say they're going to sell, surely the share price will rocket again.
Look, I think it'll be concerning. You know, they own the club. They own 69% of the shares. So these shares that are traded on the stock exchange are the other 31%. And they own the most valuable shares with voting rights. So, of course, they will be concerned. But the noises coming out of United, Glazers, somebody close to the Glazers who'd been speaking to the Mail on Sunday at the weekend was, they think United is undervalued. They want to pull it off the market because they believe that if they put it back on the market in 2025, United could be worth anywhere between 7 and 10 billion pounds. Now, that is more than 3 times what the New York Stock Exchange thinks it's worth today. So this is just purely a reaction to the report in the Mail on Sunday that the Glazers were considering taking United off the market. Bad news if you own United shares, because this is the biggest sell-off on record since United went public 11 years ago.
Difficult one for you, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think the Glazers were ever serious about getting rid of Manchester United?
I think they were testing the water. I think they were told, look, Chelsea was sold last summer in May. The Rain Group had so much interest in Chelsea. There were multiple bidders who wanted to buy Chelsea. There is a market out there of people who want to spend big money on big Premier League clubs. I think they were convinced to put United on the market. But what has happened is that amount of interest that they were expecting hasn't materialised. They've only had one serious bidder for 100% of the club, and that is Sheikh Jassim from Qatar. And his position is, yes, I'm willing to overpay for United because they're a trophy asset, but you're not going to take me for a ride. Don't play me for a fool. When the stock exchange says United is worth 3 billion, I'll pay 4 billion, 5 billion, but I'm not paying 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 billion. So I think the Glazers have been disappointed by the response. They were expecting a lot more people to be interested in buying United.
Look for price to retest the $18 level over the next week or two. If we get a breach below this down monthly trend line, look for price to retrace all the way down to $13, which is the origin of the strong move higher back from November. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.